Welcome. I've recently seen this meme. Could Captain Dubois from Madagascar 3 defeat Battle Beast from Invincible? I looked into it and it's not even close. Disclaimer, I'll be comparing her to the TV show version of the character, which is different from the comics. In the comics he can fight back against 5 Viltrumites, and in the show he struggles against 1. So don't say the comic version of Battle Beast could easily win, because the comic version of Dubois would make him into a carpet. Only she didn't got a comic. Captain Chante Dubois, the most powerful hunter the world has ever seen. Throughout 20 years of her career, she didn't fail once. She is not a mere law enforcement. She's built different is an understatement. You think Captain America is strong? Think again. This plane, with all the nonsense they put on it, will weigh something around 15 to 20 tons. And she's holding it back from flying with a smile on her face. The concrete breaks before she even starts to struggle. This requires grip strength that is at least 200,000 newtons. The best climbers in the world have 1,000. And this isn't even close to her limit. And if that isn't enough to convince you she's absolutely overpowered, seconds later she catches up to a plane by running through walls. And it's not like with Hulk breaking through with his hands. It's Omni-Man's level of ignoring the wall like it wasn't even there. Running through an object will absorb some of your energy, and therefore speed. But she doesn't slow or apply extra energy to the walls here. Dozens of hundreds of joules required to break them are as insignificant to her as air resistance when it comes to chasing.
The lion.
Not enough? She's able to jump out of a motorcycle mid-fall, which means pushing an already falling motorcycle with enough force to send herself from going down to going up at least twice her height and around 10 to 15 meters forward, meaning she normally could jump way higher. She's consistent with jumping way above human limits, lifting herself from the rest to around 4 meters of height by reacting to danger. On top of that, she's nearly 2 elephants like this colliding from that height would inflict around 24 million newtons of energy. And she's only stunned for a few seconds, despite being hit by surprise. She's thousands of times more durable than even the strongest human. It's hard to find the right comparison to this, because it's a crushing force rather than a simple impact. She wasn't pushed away like with an explosion or a strong punch, but received all the energy directly, and didn't even fall to the ground, meaning she could survive far more, especially if she sees it coming. At this point, she runs into the same issue Viltrumites have. No material could come close to her durability. Everything she uses breaks before she does. We actually can't even calculate just how durable she is, as we have never seen her take any real damage. Maybe you want to run away from her? Good luck. Ignore catching up to a plane. She gets on a speeding vehicle, opens reinforced steel doors with a single kick, which I ignored while writing this script, but it is the clearest showcase of her offensive powers we have. Imagine any living organism getting that kick. Gets accelerated with forces of probably tens of Gs, and only falls off because she couldn't get strong grip. Then this car drives off at hundreds of kilometers an hour, and less than a minute passes. It's on the roof of nearby building, ready to continue pursuit. She must have run for her bike and drive it all the way there in less than a minute. This would require her to run at way above human speed, but we can't say how fast because she drives like a demon too. To top it all off, she has the best smell and taste in the world, allowing her to get all the information she needs from close to nothing. Insane battle IQ, which helps her immediately calculate a path to victory and adapt to her situation. And is so charismatic. Her singing makes people overcome their shattered bones. She's also a skilled fighter and a great strategist. And even her weapon is overpowered. Tranquilizer gun that can pierce through reinforced steel, which requires more kinetic energy than a bullet, being so potent it makes people pass out in a second. Normal sedatives take from 30 seconds to couple minutes, but even her gun is built different. With all of this, how does she compare to Battle Beast? Beast so powerful, he goes across the universe to find
more worthy opponents!
And who's able to go head to head with a Viltrumite and win. Unfortunately, the show is as consistent with how durable Viltrumites are as politicians with keeping their promises. So we can't actually compare his top achievements to anything. But we can make an assumption. Since Viltrumites could survive similar hits as Dubois, and Battle Beast can hurt them if he really tries, he could hurt Dubois. But not as much as you think, which we can see when he actually gets on Earth. His overhead finishing hit with a mace couldn't one-shot Invincible, when he was weak on the ground, so he can't one-shot Dubois. We can see him rightfully consider Earth's strongest heroes as insects. But none of his punches were lethal, even though he didn't seem to hold back. These were supposed to be worthy opponents after all. His strikes can bend steel, but Dubois is far more durable than that. So casual fight just won't cut it here. He needs to really lock in and get a solid, clean hit to hurt her. And that's assuming he can actually hit her. Despite her durability, Captain relies on dodging and ambush tactics. Battle Beast is fast, but not even comics give him anything beyond faster reaction time. Some may argue he was able to keep up with Viltrumites, who are very fast. But once again, show and comics are very inconsistent on this. A lot of characters that shouldn't be able to keep up with them do so regardless. Meanwhile, Dubois can easily jump just as far as he can, and has above human speed, so every strike he gets will have to be earned. But could Dubois actually harm him? That's questionable. While her grip can hold a plane in place, and would be less than pleasant around his neck, her smaller size would make it an inefficient strategy. The only time we see her punch is some half-hearted hits out of frustration where Alex gets saved by plot armor, as she gets absolutely nerfed to allow for anticlimactic ending. So we don't know how hard can she punch. She could definitely affect him, far weaker characters did, but it's unclear if she could reliably hurt him this way. Instead, she has one weapon Battle Beast is not ready for, her tranquilizer gun. In all of his overpowered state, he is still a biological being, still needs oxygen for example, and his rage seems to be still reliant on adrenaline, so there is no reason why extremely potent sedatives wouldn't work on him. You can't outrage tranquilizer. Adrenaline pumps blood faster, making the drug work faster as well. It can hold back the effect, but not indefinitely. Over time it makes being mad harder and harder. Battle Beast is no ordinary lion, but this is no ordinary poison as well. And darts can 100% pierce his skin. They are the only things that was able to meaningfully affect Dubois. His immense rage and strength would probably mean you need a lot of it in his bloodstream to put him down. Meaning this fight comes to a race against time. Can Battle Beast kill Dubois before she weakens him with enough anesthetics that he can no longer harm her? This fight would be over long before Mighty Lion even realizes, when poison in his bloodstream is already high enough but sheer rage keeps him fighting. This fight could last hours. Both sides have extreme stamina, but time works in Dubois' favor. Since first dart hits the Galactic Warrior, it will begin to weaken him. More important than his strength would be his coordination. He can't run on muscle memory in this fight, since Dubois refuses to engage. He has to strategize, as he also needs to fight his own body and stay in overwhelming rage the entire time. So this fight is over way before the point he passes out. It's over the moment he can no longer coordinate to deliver a killing blow. And she just doesn't look threatening to a beast like him. His own weird code of honor is against killing opponents that couldn't challenge him.
Pathetic. This battle is beneath me. There is no honor in killing insects.
Other thing is, most don't get a chance to survive him testing that. But killing Dubois would require taking her seriously. So if he gets an upper hand early and stuns her with a single hit, he will make a fatal mistake of not exploiting it. By the time he realizes in how much danger he's in, sedative is already running through his bloodstream, and locking in becomes increasingly more difficult. Meanwhile, Dubois is from the animal control. Her training relies on not engaging the animal until Tranquilizer makes it no longer a threat. It's in character for her to play on time and keep sending darts at him from a distance. Battle Beast may be stronger, maybe, but he's just not prepared for a fight like this. Here should be an epic fight, but I have no animation skills, so I made you a little story instead. As the teleport closes behind him, Battle Beast looks around. Morocco. A city that was told to offer a worthy opponent. An opportunity he couldn't pass on. It wasn't long before Mighty Lion heard something flying towards him, putting his hand forward to cover his face, only for 5 little darts to pierce his skin. A poison! How pathetic! Many tried it on him. None succeeded. A few more darts pierced the air, but with quick reflexes, he blocked most with his mace, only to jump at one of the attackers seconds later. Show yourself, cowards! The man behind a city lamp flies into a wall with no resistance. Rest scatters away, only one hostile remaining. Woman in a blue uniform looks unfazed by what just happened, and fires another dart at him. This world promised worthy opponents. So far, I'm not impressed, Beast says while looking at the dart in his chest. He lunges towards a woman, ignoring darts landing in his skin, swings his mace, only to hit nothing. She dodged his attack, another attack, and another. She keeps jumping around him and shooting with surprising precision. Finally, as she runs out of ammunition, one swing finds its target, sending his adversary through a wall. Pathetic. She was annoying at the best. As the thrill of battle gives in to disappointment, new feelings starts creeping in. Suddenly, his vision gets blurry, and fur seems strangely warm. He lets out a roar filled with fury. No mere poison will be enough to break him. His senses, overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events, miss another roar of an engine. 3 more darts land in his shoulder. The same woman drives towards him, unharmed, firing her gun again. Rage fills his body. These cowardly tactics won't save her. Effects of whatever was in these darts retracts under his overwhelming fury. For now. Beast charges towards her, but she drives around his attacks, staying just barely out of reach. When he finally strikes, Motor flies towards the skyscraper, but she jumps off at the last second and keeps on firing, with the same unchanging, focused expression. Something is wrong. I feel strange. This poison weakens me? Do they really think they can weaken me? Me? Beast rushes in. He realizes that he must end this fight quickly, yet he still remains confident in his abilities. But poison makes it difficult to aim, and his opponent is fast, keeps distance, refuses to fight with honor. And even once he lands a punch, he can't do it with as much force as he wants. Finally, he grabs the arm of a woman. No more running. The moment of satisfaction gives the toxin opportunity to affect his mind even stronger. His vision blurs, and then she kicks him in the face with both legs, strong enough to make him lose grip. You should have stayed in the forest. Now you deal with me, woman says, firing yet another dart. He can no longer react fast enough to dodge most of them. What is going on? Every step feels heavier. It's hard to focus. As he stumbles back, woman stops firing. She puts her snare around his neck. No! He yells as the new wave of rage pushes back against the sedative. Powerful punch sends Captain flying through the building. She wipes a bit of her blood from her mouth. It's the first time an animal made her bleed. Finally. Dubois says to herself when pulling out her gun. Next hours passed in fierce combat. One well-landed blow, bite or grab could turn the tides of battle in favor of the creature, but her opponent no longer seems to realize that, swinging in blind rage. Dubois danced with death. Roars of her prey were a music, and as that symphony was getting quiet, her advantage grew. She ran out of darts a while ago. She had her henchmen ready to aid her, to provide more darts if needed, but it wasn't necessary. Tranquilizer clearly did its job, even if it took longer than usual. The lion stumbled once again, but this time she didn't approach. A cut on her face and broken rib from two last attempts were more than enough to encourage caution. His punches were weaker, less coordinated, but each of them still hurt. She circled the monster, her trusted animal snare laid firmly in her right hand, as creature fell to its knees, hands on the ground. Hawk tried to stay focused with all he had, despite the toxin of dozens of darts running through his veins. He heard as woman ran towards him. His mace flew forward, but his swings were blind. His body became his own enemy. Woman dodged his attacks and jumped over him. Still on his knees, Galactic Warrior couldn't turn around fast enough. As he felt snore tighten around his throat and a shoe push against his back with tremendous force. This wasn't a fight against a superior opponent he desired. These cowardly tactics brought this battle no honor. He wanted to rage again, but his body was giving way. He rejected death so many times during this battle, and each time made him weaker. He knew he could have won if only he took these darts more seriously. But after so many battles won, how could something like this hurt him? These thoughts accompanied him into darkness. In a sudden moment of clarity, he cut the snare with his claws. But it was too little, too late. He heard a grunt of irritation, and then felt a hit in the back of the head. And another, and another. "I'm gonna need a better saw," was the last thing he heard, as teeth of the saw broke on his once mighty body, and the world turned to darkness.